With the holiday season officially among us, I thought I'd share some helpful tips on how to not get wrapped up in overspending. You see what I did there? Get wrapped up in overspending? Wrapped like a present? Yeah. That sounded much better in my head, to be honest. Okay, that was awkward. Good one, Ron. Good one. Holiday shoppers on average are spending between $1,000 and $2,000 on gifts and other seasonal purchases. And many have plans to spend upwards of $276 per family member, even if that means going into debt. And although 3 out of every 4 consumers are considering rethinking their holiday spending strategy, 70% of Americans still go over budget during the holidays. So it really doesn't matter how much you plan to spend, it's probably more than you want to spend. And if you're planning to borrow money to finance your holiday purchases, then it's important that you reconsider your spending and whether or not debt is really worth it. Here's how to budget for the holidays and not get wrapped up and overspend. Never mind. Number 1, sentiment rather than dollar value. The bottom line is this: don't go into debt in effort to impress your friends and family this holiday season. And if you currently have other unpaid debts, don't let your debts be the Grinch that robs the fun from your holidays. So as you're writing down your list and preparing to shop, I like to motivate you to base your gift buying on sentiment rather than dollar value. Many people mistakenly determine how much they spend on gifts by looking at how much the gift receiver is spending on them. And in my opinion, this is not a valid reason to overspend, go into debt, or submit to affordable monthly payments. Instead, a much better filter you can use, especially in the context of gifts and holiday spending, is this: what are my motivations for this purchase? Am I spending money on this because I'm trying to impress someone? Am I trying to be known as a friend who always gives the best gifts? Am I considering something I know I can't afford, but will buy anyway so I don't disappoint the recipient? Or is this something I know for a fact the gift receiver will value regardless of the price? I challenge you to question your motivations before committing to any holiday purchases. Number 2, have a plan and set spending limits. I mentioned in a conversation that I shared with you last week that how much you spend during the holidays is between you and your bank account. And I mean that. I'm not in a position to tell you how much you can and can't spend. What I can do, however, is act as a guide and provide information so hopefully you don't find yourself making payments on something you bought to give to someone else. So the way we avoid that is by having a plan and setting spending limits. Now, when it comes to holiday spending, I've always found it best to write out a list of who you're shopping for and what you plan on buying them. And to take it a step further, my wife and I also write down the price of that item. But at the very least, you should definitely write down who you're shopping for. We personally keep our list in Notion, but feel free to use whatever method you want. A piece of paper works too. Now, those of you who are really big gift givers might get mad at me for this, but I have to keep it real. You're not Santa Claus. He has to buy gifts for the whole world. You don't. So if your list includes a handful of people that are outside your immediate family, cut down on the number of people on your list. I mean, I love my aunts and uncles, my first, second, and third cousins, my friends, y'all cool too. But I can't possibly, nor do I want to buy gifts for everyone I know, and you shouldn't feel obligated to do so either. Setting spending limits is all about being realistic with how much you can and can't spend and what you're willing to sacrifice. I believe we all overlook the simple fact that the money we spend on gifts is money that isn't going towards something else. And I'm not saying that to sound Grinch-like, okay? It's the truth. If you overspend on presents, you're going to have less money to put towards other things, experiences, or investments. Now, the reason I'm stressing be realistic is because you should do what fits your financial situation. If you don't have hundreds or thousands of dollars to spend, don't spend hundreds or thousands of dollars. The holidays should not pressure you to spend more than you want or have. As basic as it sounds, a monthly budget or finance tracker is the best way to get a handle on your spending overall. If your spending is out of control in March or June, for example, then I'm pretty sure the holiday season is definitely out of control. So I highly advise that you find a budgeting system or technique that works best for you and how you prefer to manage your money. There are plenty of apps and budgeting templates out there that you can download and get started with pretty quickly. However, if you're curious about how we manage our money and budget, check out this video here that I'll link to below. Also, keep in mind that budgeting means you're wise, not cheap. You can totally enjoy the holidays without spending everything you have. Number 3, start saving now for next year. When talking about budgeting for the holidays, most assume that process starts the month before or weeks before even. And come November or December, you're scrambling trying to figure out what to buy, how much to spend, and whether or not you truly have the money. Comment below if you're a last-minute planner and shopper during the holidays. No shame if you are. I'm just curious. As a matter of fact, I have some specific shopping tips for you as we continue this conversation. However, ideally, you should already be saving for next year's holidays now. And the simplest way to go about this is by automatically or manually transferring money from your checking account to a separate savings account or reserves that you set up at your bank. The way we do it is within buckets that our bank allows us to create within our savings account. So essentially, we have a savings account, or a core savings as we call it. And within that account, we have custom buckets or reserves that we set up that we can allocate the money in our savings to. As an example, we have a gifts bucket and a few others. And every month we put money into these various buckets. And when birthdays and holidays come around, like they are now, we already have the money set aside for gifts. Then all we have to do is collectively decide how much we want to spend, budget against that, and pull the money from that bucket or reserve as we need it. This, along with discipline and intentional spending, has kept us from overspending, going into debt, and feeling like the holidays are not enjoyable because we can't participate the way we'd like. So if your bank allows you to do something like this, or if it's pretty easy for you to do something similar, then I highly encourage it. Number 4, be flexible and get creative. This tip should prove to be helpful for anyone listening. However, I want to talk directly to the last-minute planner and shopper who's listening right now, as I promised earlier. Shopping last minute on a budget is difficult. The stores are half empty. The item you thought would be the perfect gift is either sold out or won't be back in stock until February. The deals are few and far between. It's frustrating, I know. But what should you do so you don't overspend on a last-minute gift? Here are a few things to consider. Give a photo and let your recipient know what's on the way. Let's say you've missed a cutoff for one-day delivery, or you realize that the cost for this delivery option means taking out a small loan. Instead of panicking and showing up empty-handed on Christmas, try gifting a picture of said item or a picture of a wrapped present if you're all for surprises, and simply tell them that their gift is still on the way. Gift and investment. Sometimes we limit ourselves to traditional gift-giving tactics, buying a new gadget or toy, wrapping it all up, writing who it's from, and then hoping the recipient likes it. Now, if you found continued success with that, cool. Don't try and fix what's not broken. But if you're a little bored with traditional, try this tactic instead. Invest money into the recipient's project or business. If you have someone on your list who has a business, is starting a business, or loves creating and inventing things, consider gifting an investment and supporting what they love doing. Experiences, not things. Consider buying tickets to a Broadway production, a sporting event, a class they can take such as glass blowing or pottery. Maybe you can sponsor a trip or part of a trip. Regardless of what you gift, keep in mind that experiences in many ways are priceless because they help shape who we are as individuals, but also gives us broader perspectives in life. Now, with that said, you still don't and shouldn't feel obligated to spend more than you're comfortable spending. Number 5, start your holiday shopping early. I'd assume that you're watching this video because, well, holiday shopping is on your mind. However, I'd say that I'm late to the game with getting this information out to you because I believe that you should get your holiday shopping done and out the way early. Give yourself 60 to 90-day buffer so that way you're not running around at the last minute. But then again, if you're the last minute kind of shopper anyway, then go back and rewatch or listen to tip number 4. Flexibility and creativity are going to be your best friends. That and maybe a few prayers for your sanity because I don't know how you do it. I hope I shared something here that you found valuable and helpful. Also, if you have any go-to tips for holiday spending, feel free to share so others can learn and join in on this conversation. Keep growing, keep learning, and always stay true to you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.